Hey, today I want to show you a new high ticket coaching funnel, which is in this series of high ticket coaching funnels, the sixth funnel. And it's called the webinar funnel. And this is something that we do a lot of. So I'd like to share some of our experiences and a few tips to make this webinar funnel really successful for your business. So my name is Terrence. I'm from Radical Marketing, and what we do is we help coaches and course creators to sell high ticket offers through various funnels. So today, I really want to give you the whole structure of a webinar funnel and show you some examples and give you some pro tips so that you can actually create your own high converting webinar funnel. So let's jump into it, shall we? Here on the left hand side, where we have ads, that basically go to landing page. Now, if people don't sign up on the landing page for the webinar, what will then happen is we will give them some retargeting ads so that we can bring them back. Because if they showed interest in the first place, maybe something happened where they got distracted by a dog or whatever, and they did not sign up for the event. So we want to retarget these people or give them a different angle so that, we want to make sure that give them every possible chance to sign up for the event. Now, what happens then once they sign up? They go to a thank you page, right? So before we go into that, let me just basically give you an example of a landing page that we have created for one of our clients. And you may be surprised. So this is Mastering Your Wealth from one of our clients. Now, you may be surprised that this kind of, it looks quite plain, right? So it doesn't basically go really in depth. But yeah, we actually go in depth right here, right? So we need a very strong headline, right? So this is a very strong and simple headline, communicates benefit right away so that people who want to actually register for the free training can do so right away here. And if not, they can basically read all about this whole concept and what they get from the event, who's the host, and details of the event, right? So that's a landing page for a webinar. It's pretty simple, right? And as I said, if people come to this page, if they don't sign up, we will hit them with retargeting ads. Okay. So just want to show you a very, very simple, quick landing page for a webinar. And then on the thank you page, the thank you page is very, very important. Now, most people, what they do is just say, congratulations, you've signed up for the webinar, you registered. I think that this is a very important step where you can actually, number one, tell them exactly what they need to do next, right? If they do the next two steps, which is like whitelist the emails and, add a Google Calendar to their a time to the Google Calendar, basically you will have better show up rates instead of just a quick thank you page. In some cases, we actually have a whole video just to welcome them, and so that we start building trust and familiarity with the speaker himself or herself prior to the event. Because let's face it, when they first sign up straight away, their emotions are high, they're excited. There is a higher chance of them actually doing what you want them to do. As opposed to later, it's much harder, right? So take this opportunity on the thank you page, make your thank you page count. Okay, so that's what I will say for the thank you page. So once they sign up and go to the thank you page, we will automatically send them a welcome email. And apart from the welcome email, they will be also sent an indoctrination sequence. What's an indoctrination sequence? It's basically a series of emails to build likability and trust. So think of examples where you're sending them, a picture of you and your dog, a picture of you and your kids playing around. Make yourself human so that you have that likability about you. And the second thing is you might want to also send some credibility emails, like certain case studies, how you help someone like similar in this with their situation to overcome a certain problem that they might be finding a solution for. You might want to send them any media releases and stuff like that, where you got featured in the media or got interviewed by someone famous, right? All that will help you to basically break down obstacles towards the eventual sale at the webinar, right? And you want to start building that trust, because without trust, people are not going to buy from you. Okay, so that's what we do in the indoctrination sequence. And then closer to the date, we will have a reminder sequence where we remind them 2 days beforehand, 1 day beforehand, 2 hours beforehand, etc., until the event happens. Okay, and that can come in the form of emails, SMS, WhatsApp. Right. And also, the other thing that we do here is we also will have reminder ads. Basically, what we want to do here is to remind people, hey, you've registered for this webinar. I'm so excited that you've registered. I can't wait to show you these 3 things that you're going to get at my upcoming webinar. Thank you for registering, etc., etc. Right. So these are retargeting ads for people who have signed up, right? You might want to also have some credibility ads where you have a compilation of testimonials of people that have benefited from your service or your coaching, and basically then just to remind them, hey, you've registered for this event, you've made a wise choice. Look forward to seeing you at the webinar. Right. So what happens next is obviously the webinar. Now, after the webinar, we won't talk so much about the webinar itself because it's kind of like you need to basically present a good webinar, right? But we won't go into depth as to what you need to present and all that stuff here because that's beyond the scope of this. What we want to do is to focus on the funnel itself. So after the webinar, what you want to do is maybe you want to consider pitching the next event, the encore, right? So some people will have a webinar on, say, Tuesday and then have another one on Wednesday. So the Wednesday webinar is for the people who did not show up on Tuesday or had to kind of leave halfway, and you just kind of tell them, hey, why don't you come for my event tomorrow instead? I know you missed tonight's event, but no worries, I got your back. Come back tomorrow. Alternatively, if you're doing a weekly webinar, you could say, hey, you didn't show up today, but no worries. Just click here and you can register for next week's event at the same time. Okay. So that happens after the webinar. And the other thing is, after that, you might want to pitch the replay of the webinar. It's just saying, hey, we've managed to get the replay ready. You can watch it here. And what's really useful here, or something for you to consider, is to actually have a time limit to the replay. Because if you don't have that time limit, generally people will procrastinate and they won't watch the webinar, right? They'll forget about it. So it's probably good to have like a 24-hour or 48-hour countdown before the webinar gets taken away. That seems to work quite well because that forces people to actually take action to watch the webinar. Okay, so this obviously you want to put the recording on the page. You send them an email to tell them to, hey, go and watch the webinar on this page. It'll be available for 24 hours. You might want to have a little countdown at the top so people are aware of the time as well. Right. Now, the other thing that you might want to consider after pitching the replay is like, okay, once you close down the replay, okay, what happens then is you might want to actually create a shortened version of your event in the format of a video sales letter. So instead of watching a 60-minute webinar, for example, they might be able to watch a 15-minute video where you recap everything that has happened at the webinar, right? And basically have call to action, whatever that call to action might be, to schedule an appointment, or you want to sell make an offer for them to buy something on that page itself. That's totally fine too. See, the thing is, in today's age, a lot of people may not have 60 minutes to watch something, or they might not want to invest 60 minutes to watch something because they're busy. But a 10-15 minute VSL that is a summary of what you have discussed at the webinar might be something very enticing to them. So consider having that VSL on a page and use email, SMS, get them to go and consume that content. All right. And then finally, what happens is what we often find useful is that we have a closed cart sequence of emails going out. And those emails are basically saying, hey, thanks for, we're going to basically close down our carts. And once we close down carts, you won't be able to secure this coaching program at this particular price, and you have to pay double, or we won't be accepting any more enrollments past this time. So make sure you enroll now, right? So we have a closed cart sequence of maybe 5 to 7 emails, counting down from 3 days out or 2 days out, and basically sending them emails until we have that countdown, and basically that whole thing shuts down, and they can't buy anymore, right? Now, if you're running like webinars every week, you're probably asking, how do I implement that? Because I can't really close my cart because I'm having webinars every single week. Well, the good news is you have a tool called Deadline Funnels. I can't remember how much it costs, but it's close to $100 a month. And what happens if you install that Deadline Funnel script on your page? It actually has a specific countdown for each specific person. So if that person registers again to your next webinar and tries to sign up again, they can't, because Deadline Funnels actually tracks who the person is. So yeah, they cannot sign up. So it's a real deadline in that sense, so that you're not creating forced scarcity and people are complaining about it. So yeah, Deadline Funnels is the specific tool that you might want to consider using. So that's pretty much it. I just want to give you a very broad overview of a webinar funnel. What we construct sometimes can go longer, where we actually have a 30 days email sequence after the webinar. What we found is that the more chances you give to people to sign up for your events, and you're mixing it up with different sorts of content, different sorts of marketing strategies, the more you are able to maximize each and every webinar registrant. Because as we know, in the average webinar, 70% of them won't show up. So you want to maximize that 70%, right, of the list that didn't show up by giving them different types of content to consume, so that they eventually, hopefully a portion of them, will actually buy what you have to offer. Thanks, guys, for watching this, and I really hope you got something of value from this webinar funnel breakdown. And yeah, please do implement those ideas, and I hope you will experience more success with your webinars. If you're on YouTube, make sure you check out our other videos in this series. And if you have come to the Radical Marketing website, make sure you check out all the blog posts with a lot of case studies and useful marketing information that will help your high ticket coaching business to grow.